All right, all right, all right. Boom, bam, boom. It's Thursday night. It's your boy Big here tonight. I'm bringing the UK Money Hammer tonight on the Game On, Get Paid Power Hour show. And I want to welcome you along with my co-host tonight, ever effervescent, Krista. Krista, you want to come out and say hello to everyone?
I sure can, and I have to say before we even get started that I want to see a Canadian money hammer here soon because we're about to lay the smack down on this business. I want a Canadian one on there. Well, it's always super exciting.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I don't say that. No doubt about it. I can't even say it. I talk like Canadian. I talk Newfie. But anyway, no, it's super exciting to be here again tonight and to be on the show because, I don't know, it's like you pump me up every time I'm on the show and give me excitement. And then when I leave, I just want to push this business even more. So I'm hoping that we incite this type of behavior in other people on our team too here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Krista. And there is no doubt about the fact that every Thursday night we come to you with the Money Hammer and we basically put on a show. And this show is all about Game Loot Network. And if this is your first time watching the show, sit back. 30 minutes from now, you're going to have a big giant smile across your face because we're going to share something that's actually going to benefit not only your smile, but also your pocketbook. Now, as I always say, this show is all about Game Loot Network. Me and my co-host Krista, we are team leaders in Game Loot Network. We are team ambassadors, but we're also professional marketers who are very excited company has put together. And this show is all about telling you about that. So if this is your first time watching, we've got some ground rules. First of all, because it is a show that we put on, we want you to sit back and join us for the next 60 minutes. We're going to tell you as we always, as my man Ray Lewis in football always says, hey, better get your popcorn ready because we're about to put on a show. So if you haven't done it already, get your popcorn going. Make sure you got good butter because, again, this show is always salty. Also, other ground rules. If you have your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your boyfriend rubbing up on you saying, come on, baby, spend some time with me. Say, not tonight, baby. I got 60 minutes. I got to concentrate on this Game On Get Paid show. And if you got the kids coming over going, you know, daddy, mommy, read me a story. No, can't, kids. Something important. And then you can spend time with them later. But I want you to do this. Chris and I want you to spend the next 60 minutes with us focusing because, again, here's a promise from Krista and myself. Not only are you going to thank us, but your wallet, your financial bank account is going to thank us because we're going to show you a way to make money, to make residual income. Guess what? Sharing mobile games. Now, kind of gave the cat out of the bag there, but how we do this show is this. If you're watching it for the first time, live, welcome. We're glad you could make it. Someone shared this show with you because they wanted you to know all about Game Loot Network and how we go about helping people build a residual income by sharing mobile games. If you're watching this on replay and you're like, who the hell are these crazy people and what's this UK Money Hammer? Sit back. You're going to learn in a little bit, but make sure you get back to the person that shared the link with you because they want you to join them on our team. And it really is a team concept. And in fact, we'll talk about that in a little bit. What we also like to do on this show, besides telling you to kick your baby mama and your girlfriends and boyfriends out of the room so you can concentrate, we like to tell you one other thing. Turn off your Facebook. I'm telling you, you're going to want to focus here on what we cover because we're going to cover a lot very quickly. The other thing that we really like to do is it's not just Krista and myself doing the show every week, patting ourselves on the back, telling you how great we are. We like to bring on people who have joined Game Loot Network and not necessarily through us to tell their story, to tell how they came to come aboard Game Loot Network, to tell how they became a bird head, got their bird on and became a Game Loot Looney Tune just like us. Tell their story so that you can see that this is really for everyone. And so tonight we're happy. I'll introduce her. I'm not going to bring her out. We'll bring her out later after we tell you exactly what Game Loot is. I'm happy to have all the way from the UK, and this is how excited people are and dedicated they are. Bodil is in the UK. It is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm not sure, but that's dedication for you. And she is excited to tell you about her story, about how she got started, and why she's excited about helping to build her team in Game Loot Network. And that's dedication. That's a team leader for you at 2 a.m. in the morning. Now, before we get started, what we want to do is just quickly have you understand this is a team building concept, but it doesn't necessarily have to be our team. If you get introduced to Game Loot Network and you're part of another team, that's what this show is all about. It allows you to also bring your perspective. Teammates here will never share a link. We'll never talk about joining our team personally. We'll talk about the fact that you want to get back to the person that introduced you to this show, because again, it benefits all of us to work as a family within Game Loot Network. Wouldn't you say that's the case, Krista?
I don't know if you're talking to me. No, because you just cut out, so I didn't know if you were talking to me or Bodil.
Oh, okay.
Technical difficulties.
Right. Like I said, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to basically start the show. So you've got your popcorn. Everyone's got your popcorn. It's time for us to hit you with the money hammer. And why do I say hit people with the money hammer? What I simply mean is we get excited because we truly love, Krista and myself and the other team leaders truly love helping and showing other people how to make money online, especially with great like this that are entirely different from the drag and crap that's out there. I mean, we'll be brutally honest. And so the money hammer really is to pound home a point. When someone gets excited and actually moves forward in their business, and that's kind of where it all came about. So I've started out with a money hammer in the US. Now the UK, as Krista said, we'll be having a Canadian money hammer. The truth is, the great thing about this opportunity is it's available in 9 countries, and it's growing and growing. And soon, later at the big kickoff event in Las Vegas, they're going to be announcing multiple other countries that it's opening up into. And so what I wanted to do with you is just have Krista come out and talk about some of the countries that are available. And then what I thought I'd do is get right into what Game Loot Network is for a few minutes. And then, Krista, we can bring Bodil out for a Q&A. What do you think? I didn't cut out that time.
You did a little bit in the beginning, so you did cut out big, sorry.
No problem. So now, the other day, I was I had my binoculars. It's a funny story. I had my binoculars, basically looking out because I have property with a lot of different birds and stuff like that, and we have a bunch of hummingbird feeders and all like that. And my neighbor across the way, she's this gorgeous blonde, and I think she's stalking me, Krista. I think she's stalking me, and the reason I can tell is because I saw through my binoculars that she was looking up my name and all on Google on her computer. That's a bad joke. Anyway,
no, it was actually a really good joke, and I've got a really good comment, but I need to write it. I can't say it out.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing that you guys will always notice is, as leaders, we have a lot of fun, and Game Loot Network is just about that also. It's about basically making money by sharing mobile games, and a lot of people want to know, what exactly do you mean by that? You know, and so I thought what I'd do is, Krista, let me go right into the presentation, and not because we don't know anything and we have to go based on slides, but people out there learn things different ways. A lot of people learn by hearing. Some people learn by writing down or reading, and other people learn visually by seeing it. So it's one thing for us to tell them and what we're sharing them, but it's another for us to actually put up visuals for you to associate what we're saying with the actual slides. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go in, and bear with me, I'm going to go to that page. All right, let's go. Oh boy. All right, one thing about this show, can you see my screen there? Krista? You have to give me a yes verbally there.
Sure can. Yeah, we can see it.
All right. One thing about this show is, again, we're not scripted. We're real, we're raw, and that's the way we like it. You know, we're not set up to be, you know, have all types of stuff, you know, preset, and it goes off exactly the way we think. So there, I had the slides, and guess what? I was 3 or 4 ahead, so I slid back real quick. So what you should be seeing is the first slide, which says, welcome, Game Loot Network, powered by Fun, which is their trademark, and how you tap into that. Do you see that slide there for me, Krista? Yes?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, great. So let's get into what Game Loot Network is and how you actually tap into earning from this company. Understand, the most important thing that you have to wrap your head around is the mobile gaming industry is huge and only getting bigger. In fact, it's currently over $40 billion. And in the next 3 years, that's only 36 months, it's expected to grow to over 200 billion. That is a 5-timer, which is unheard of in most industries. But because it's so new, here's an opportunity to tap into it. Now, most of you have probably heard of Angry Birds, Clash of Clans, Draw Something, Temple Run. Most of you have heard of that because people on Facebook hit you with game requests for these all the time. Angry Birds, one of the most famous, in fact, they just had a movie that was a blockbuster over the summer. It was a game that cost just $100,000 to create. It had over 2 billion downloads. 200+ million minutes are wasted every day playing Angry Birds. Do you know that's 16+ years of gameplay? And in fact, the maker, Rovio, the company that made Angry Birds, is currently valued in the stock market at over $1 billion. That's B. And I thought this was an interesting note that more people currently play Angry Birds every day than are in Twitter's entire member database. Look at Candy Crush. Here's another one. God, big popular night. Everybody's hitting me up left and right, interrupting my show here. But Candy Crush has over 93 million daily active users. Bodil, you'd be surprised to know that's more than the population of Australia. But interesting facts. King, that's the company responsible for creating Candy Crush, made almost $2 billion in revenue and over $550 million in profit in 2013 from mobile games. In fact, King went on to be sold in 2015 for $5.9 billion. What are some other gaming giants? Supercell. They created a Clash of over 829 million in 2013. Supercell itself did over 892 million in profit. That's what they cleared in 2013. In fact, Supercell then in 2014 sold 51% of itself to SoftBank for $1.5 billion. Are you following what I'm saying here? There's a lot of money in games, and it's just not the giant gamers, it's others as well. Flappy Bird, I always laugh about this slide that we put together, built by a 28-year-old Vietnamese game developer. In 4 days, he put it up on the Apple Store, and it's been downloaded over 50 million times. In fact, it became the #1 download of the app on the Google Play Store in its first week, and he generates over $50,000 a day in ad revenue. Other gaming giants, again, King, I talked about it earlier, has over 1.2 billion gameplays every single day. 28 million active users, less than 700 employees, but it's currently valued at $4 billion. And mobile gaming is going mainstream. In fact, those that have watched the Super Bowl, one of the most widely watched events in the world, will have recognized that Clash of Clans, Game of War, Heroes Charge were all ads during the Super Bowl. And in fact, 15 million was spent on less than 2 minutes of airtime total. And big stars are being paid big money to be the voice behind these games. Kate Upton, Liam Neeson, those were the celebrity stars and voice for Clash of Clans and Game of War. The cost of just those 3 commercials, just 3, over $20 million. So again, not only is money being made, but it's also being spent to do what? To get people to play games, to get people to join up and spend money. And the thing they all have in common is all of these games, their popularity was generated using social media, shared over Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. Facebook being the biggest one because there's so many users there, billions and billions of people, and they generate such profits in games because people share them freely among each other. So Game Loot Network, okay, about 18 months ago realized that they could not only change the rules, but they could actually change the game, pun intended. What if you could do what you're already doing on Facebook, all right? Sharing, talking about, promoting, but you could also have fun, win prizes, and earn cash. So one of the things a lot of people say is, but Big, I don't like to play games. And again, people my age don't like to play games. Haha, that's where research comes in, because I'm going to prove you wrong, and Krista can back me up on this. Everyone is playing games. If you look at the demographics of game players in the different areas and countries, it's pretty much split based on gender, age, and device. In North America, over 146 million playing games, pretty much evenly split between male and female, 48 to 52%. But here's some interesting statistics. 38% are between the age of 20 and 35, and that's to be expected. But look at this right here. Nearly a third are between the ages of 35 and 50. And those people have much more disposable income. If you say, yeah, but that's America where people are lazy, and it's not Canada, and it's not Europe, and it's not any others. Well, let's go over and look at the European Union. 212 million, many, many more gamers. Again, because mobile is much more accepted over in these other areas, but it's still pretty evenly split, 46% female, 54% male. And again, let's look at these numbers. Still a third to 50, the bulk of it being 20 to 35. Korea, Japan, China, again, more male, obviously, but still 25%, age 35 to 50. And that's why I'm showing you that, okay? These 4 questions. Do you play games on your mobile phone or other devices like your iPhone, Android, iPad, or tablet? Do you know anyone else that plays games on their mobile phone or other mobile devices? Do you like to win prizes and other cool stuff? But most importantly, I'm going to ask you this question. Would you like to make money and get paid to play games and share games with other? And if you said yes to any of those questions, well, we've got something very powerful we want to let you in on. And we're going to share that tonight in much more detail, and that is Game Loot Network. Game Loot Network is a legitimate and viable business based out of Kansas City, Missouri. State-of-the-art 8,000 square foot office. They're actually moving into a new facility here in a couple of weeks, much larger because they continue to expand. And CEO Lance Baker has over 15 years experience in the industry. The thing we're most excited about and why we started this show is that they launched a brand new distributorship phase. They have been around for 18 months in a beta test phase where they brought on gamers who pay to basically play their games, but they looked at a distributor phase in June 1st of this year, and they launched it in 9 countries: Canada, Mexico, Bahamas, New Zealand, Australia, the UK, England, India, Philippines. That means Big Krista has to come up with 9 different money hammers. I better get working and find all those money hammers, or have to have someone make them for me. But we're excited about that. And again, these countries, and there are others coming over the next couple weeks and couple of months. What exactly do they do? Well, I talked about it. Mobile games, mobile games, mobile games. Mobile games. And the key is that they've created the ultimate gaming community. They have virtual game loot tokens that people get to play with for fun, and they win those game loot tokens. People get to invite and play head-to-head with their friends, so there's this whole social aspect to it. They play in daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments, and they win all types of prizes in the reward center. That's what's so appealing to the whole gaming community, if you will. But remember what I said earlier, it's just not young kids anymore. It's everyone basically taking advantage. And the reason people do it is they want to be entertained. And that mobile phone that's in people's hands does the best job ever of, guess what? Entertaining people while they're waiting for this or they're bored for that. And so Game Loot, that what they've done is they've combined three different elements. Not elephants, elements. They have an ever-expanding library of mobile games, which they'll continue to add to month after month after month. In fact, the projections are from the CEO himself that they're going to have in excess of 100+ games toward the end of 2017. They have a fun and exciting social gaming community. Again, that's what people like, not only the gaming, because again, gaming used to be a very individual thing where you'd sit down in your basement and TV and all. And this adds the exciting part of it, where there's this community where they can basically play against you, share, interact. And then obviously the game loot rewards. But the most exciting thing that we think you're going to want to hear about is what Krista is going to share in a little bit after we do our Q&A with Bodil, and that's the amazing compensation plan for distributors. It is amazing, and you will want to take notes because you will be blown away by how powerful it is. And again, it can be done because of the profits that are potentially there in mobile gaming. And so how exactly would that work before we get into the Q&A? Essentially, Game Loot, earlier I talked about huge publicly traded companies spending millions and millions on advertising. Well, what Game Loot Network has decided to do, basically have themselves be the company and you and I be the marketing, whether it be word of mouth, mobile phone sharing, online marketing. If they cut out the middleman, the advertiser, the broker, then those revenues and profits that would normally go toward that and we're going to tell you exactly how that is shared in a little bit after I do a Q&A and Krista does a Q&A with Bodil. So keep that in mind, okay? That's exactly it. There are profits that are made, and then because of the way it's set up by cutting out the middleman, you and I can participate for the first time ever in a network marketing situation with an industry that is just exploding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out and in a little bit over in detail the compensation plan, and you're going to be salivating. So what you might want to do right now, you might have just butter smeared on your face, but you might want to get some napkins, because when she starts to go over this in a little bit, you're going to be excited and you're probably going to be drooling a little bit, and it's not going to be because of the popcorn. So I'm going to come out of the presentation for everyone. All right. And what I wanted to do at this time, Krista, you still there? It's funny because Google, when you first come out, you can't. Awesome. You can't see people when you first come out of the presentation because it's cycling through, and you never know. And if you ever do Google type of Hangouts, those will know that when you're doing your presentation, you can't see anyone at the same screen that you're sharing. So hopefully with the new YouTube Live that's coming, a lot of that is supposed to be fixed so that you can actually keep an eye on the people that are on the panel as well as the audience. So without further ado, Krista, maybe you want to do the honors of introducing our very special member guest tonight that's joining us at such a wee early hour over in the UK. Did we lose you, Krista? All right, I will do it. And so I'm very happy. Like I said, we on this show, I just want to remind you that if you're watching this on replay, someone shared the link with you. If you're watching it live, get back to that person, because again, they want you to join the team. They want you to be a part of it. And proud. The reason we do the show the way we do is first to introduce the opportunity on Game Loot Network, and then to bring out team members so they can talk about their experience, how they got started, things like that. So again, I'm very proud to have on today's show Bodil. And Bodil, if you want to come out, just who you are, your full name, how you got started in the marketing, network marketing industry, whatever it may be, and how you came across Game Loot from there.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Bodil McCaskill. I got involved in Game Loot only a month ago and blown away by the bonuses, by the support, and the training is unbelievable. It really is. My background is nothing to do with internet marketing whatsoever. This is the first time that I've ever been involved with a real internet marketing company, which is possibly why I'm really blown away by everything that's happening. I've done some MLM relatively successfully. However, this is it. This is the Godfather. This is the big kahuna. Absolutely.
Right. Now, Bodil, you talked about having done some MLM, which for those out there who don't know, that's multi-level marketing, or now being called network marketing. How, when you first came into this, let's first go back. How were you introduced to Game Loot Network? Because you're not a gamer, I assume, right?
No, never played a game in my life. Man, I didn't even
so why
play
do you
Pac-Man.
Why do you love it so much if you're not a gamer? And obviously, again, don't be offended, because my mother said never ask a woman her age, but I'm going to assume you're not 20-year-old graphic.
No, I'm actually glad I don't live in Korea or Japan, because I didn't even come into that little pie chart there. I'm over 50s, we're not even there. So luckily I live in the UK. No, I've just never played any of these things at all, but I do realise a good opportunity when it's presented. I think you've got to be able to think outside the box. Absolutely. But you've got to have some sort of vision to see the big picture, not just a bit of a tunnel, but you've got to see the huge picture. And I saw that right away. Looked at the comp plan and I thought, whoa, this is absolutely amazing. And it was a friend of mine who I have great trust and respect for that introduced me to Game Loot. And I can't thank her enough.
Her. Okay. So now, did she say to you, hey, look at this, you like to play mobile games, so you're going to love this? Or how did she actually introduce the concept to you? Because as you said, one, the demographic, but also the fact that you're not a big gamer. How did she get you to open up, to that bigger picture?
It was more or less, have a look at this. Have you heard of Lloyd Dotson? Have you heard of Darren Little? Have you heard of Aaron McCabe? Have you heard of Paul D'Souza? I'm like, something's ringing some bells here. So I knew there was some big names involved. So that's why I took a real hard look at things, and I thought, it's just so simple though. It's a simple concept. And you just, 3 people. Everybody knows 3 people. It's easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you touched on something that Krista's actually going to cover, even though we lost her as far as her internet obviously was acting up. And if not, I'll cover it. But you touched on the concept of just 3. And I see you smiling, because it is simple. And we're going to cover that in a little bit. But let's not let the entire cat out of the bag, because we're going to cover that, and then we'll come back to you, Bodil, about that. But talk to me a little bit more about, you talk about the simplicity when you looked at it. In your experience before, have other multi-level marketing or network marketing companies more complicated than this? Is that why you keep saying that word simple to understand?
Yeah, I think when you first look at any kind of company, which is multi-level marketing, you will find that there seems to be some sort of complicated volumes and pounds and dollars equal volume, and it's just all over the place. And a lot of them, there are so many products.
Right.
I'm not going to name any companies, but there are very many
let's not call them out.
products out there. No, I mean,
Yeah.
there's just so much out there, and you can have this huge, vast array of products or services, mostly products. So you think, oh, and that one's worth so many dollars to me, and if I sell one of these, it's going to be 50 cents. But this is just so simple. It's straightforward. There's no crap here.
Right.
It's just straightforward.
Now, also, do you have product piling up in your garage or your back office with
Personally,
Game Link
no.
Network?
Not with Game Link Network. No, definitely not. Which is really great.
I was going to say, isn't that refreshing? That's kind of one of the things I know you talked to me about that was refreshing for you, right?
Yeah. Listen, my mom did Tupperware in the 70s. And believe me, we did have, the house was full of bags and bags of this plastic stuff.
To this day, absolutely.
Yes.
Now, again, we make fun of it a little bit, but the truth is every company has its place. But what Bodil is trying to share is open your mind up a little bit, even if you happen to be outside that demographic. Maybe there's not a chart for you because, and again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Bodil. What you're basically saying is kind of what I outlined, that if you understand that it doesn't matter if you're playing games, hundreds of millions of others are, the thought.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, the industry is just so massive at the moment. It's just growing so quickly. And as long as you can see that, then you get it.
Awesome.
I may never play games in my whole life, what's left of it, but it's just such a, as I say, simple concept. Simple.
Yep. Now, one of the things is the reason you also got turned onto this is you were able to answer a couple of yeses on those 4 questions I talked about, right? One,
Yep.
that you like to win prizes. Who doesn't? I mean, when you go to fairs and all like that, right?
Sure.
And the other was definitely telling other people about sharing mobile games. And
Yep.
I see you shaking your head, but that was a definite yes, right?
It was a definite yes.
I'm going to come back to you. Now, the key here is that Krista actually lost power. Okay, so she just messaged me, said she lost power. If she can get back on when her power comes on, great. But what I thought I'd do, Bodil, is let me go into the actual compensation plan for people, because it's one thing for you and I who've been exposed to it to say, oh, it's so simple, it's easy to understand. So let me start to go into it. And then what I'll do is I'll come out and I'll let you share your story about the compensation plan, where you currently are, what that means to you as far as residual income now, what you're working toward next. So without giving it away, then we'll come back and have people. And again, one of the things you did share, if you guys picked up and noticed, she talked about only being in for a month. So keep that in mind when we come back to Bodil and when she shares what she's made and how much she's making and what she's on track to do in the next 30 days. Sound fair, Bodil?
Fantastic.
Awesome. So I'm going to have you mute and let me go and share. Let me go and share what Krista was going to share with you. While you were talking, I was actually pulling up that part. And let me go back to that. All right. And that means I've got to go back. And again, like I said, everyone, bear with us here. Bear with us. I'm going to start it from the current slide. So I'm going to, let's go on a ride, folks. This is going to be like deja vu. Wait, where have I seen that before? All right. Here we go. So last I left off was, all right. And Bodil, do me a favor, since Krista can't, can you just tell me that you can see the compensation plan overview slide? Let me know. Yes, no? Am I losing everyone?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. Otherwise, I got to come out to the double screen and all that. All right. So are we back? And you can see the slide. If I go up, can you now see the last slide I left off with, how our business works?
I can.
All right. So here we go. Now, let me do my best Krista voice here. But I have to be Canadian, so I have to talk about. So anyway, Krista would normally go over this, and she knows the compensation plan like the back of her hand, and I do as well. But the truth is, I have hair on the back of my hand, so sometimes I get lost when I think I'm going one way and the hair all goes the other way. So, compensation plan for Game Loot Network is extremely powered by fun. Remember, we talked earlier about the demographics, so you've got to open your mind, like Bodil said, to the fact that your job is just to share the story. Let people out there make up their mind whether they're too old, too young, whatever it may be. Let's move right into it. First and foremost, there's three options to get started with Game Loot Network. The first is a gamer. Earlier, I talked about the company being around for 18 months and basically signing on gamers. To be a gamer, it's completely free to play the games only. That's their focus, to continue to add gamers, because again, a game goes viral when gamers basically pick up on it and start to share it. The second way is to be a premium gamer. That's a $10 a month subscription, and they're eligible to win the Game Loot tokens and win prizes and all those things. And again, the bulk of the revenue is coming from that because game players love the setup. $10 a month is nothing compared to the possibility of what they can win, the tokens, the prizes, all of that. And that's why there are so many premium gamers signing up with Game Loot Network. And then, like I said earlier, in June, they opened the option for distributorship so that you and I and people like Bodil could go out there and tell the story and also participate in. And by doing this, we are their advertising community. And word of mouth and social sharing and all like that, again, is the way that all these other companies built huge billion-dollar company valuations. But guess what? A lot of you out there who played Candy Crush and told your friends and shared it and all like that, who also played Candy Crush and Angry Birds and all like that. Did they ever send you a check? Absolutely not. I know they didn't to me. I know they didn't to my son. So the third option with Game Loot Network is to become a Game Loot ambassador for $124.99 per month. Now, open your mind here. Don't just go $125 a month. Holy crap. Open your mind. Open your mind. And Bodil's going to talk about this in a little bit when we come back to her also. $1 for your game, for your 500 game tokens, $24.99 for the marketing arcade, which is a complete, thorough, absolutely thorough marketing system and back office. And $124.99 monthly total is what comes out of your pocket if you get 10 premium gamer customers to come in. Then that $100 is covered. The $24.99, like I said, is your marketing back office, and it is fantastic. And it's not going to just be me saying it. Bodil will come out and share some of her experiences with it as well, because remember, she talked about it. She's not a big internet marketer and all like that. This is all new to her, but she'll talk about her experiences with the marketing arcade for just $25 a month. A lot of you are out there going, okay, you told me I had to pay, but how do I get paid? Big. So we get paid in Game Loot Network's compensation plan. All right. First, there are the daily commissions. They start at $5 per day. This is residual recurring income and go up to $3,000 per day. Yes, there are people in the company that are in the second month closing in very quickly on $3,000 per day in residual income. Level up bonuses from $250, and Bodil is going to share her experience with this, up to $200,000 in one-time level up bonuses as you hit certain levels by adding members to your team. And then finally, this is absolutely amazing. And we talked about the team building concept. That's the idea. You want to build your team, help them have success, And the more success everyone's having and sharing, guess what? Everyone participates. And that is the builder bonuses. And that is a 200% check matchup, $1,000 per person, starting with only your fourth commission qualified person and beyond. That's why Bodil is so excited after she got her third person, because then you start working on these builder bonuses. And like I said, I'll go over this in detail, but I want you to hear it from her also, so it's just not me talking about it, me meaning Krista, because this is not Big doing this part of the presentation. So let's look quickly at the compensation plan. All right, and again, remember, this is being recorded, so you can come back and look at this again, or even better, someone shared the link with you on this call. You're watching it on replay or live, get back to that person, and they can actually send you a 9-page PDF that goes into full details. Now, understand, anything I talk about here as income potential is only for illustrative purposes. You're going to need to refer to that detailed compensation plan document for all the details. Results not typical. Someone like myself, who's a 3 and a 2% team builder earner within a program like this, does not guarantee that you'll have the same results, but the potential is absolutely amazing. Just remember, this is for illustrative purposes only. But there are different levels, starting at Ruby, moving very quickly, where you, based on group volume, again, after you get your 3, you've got to personally refer 3 active game ambassadors underneath you that you personally refer, and they sign up with you. Combination of group volume, okay? And for that, if you get to certain levels, you're going to receive residual starting at the $5. If you're a Ruby 3, it's $30 per day. You also are given bonuses, one-time bonuses of $250, $500, $1,250. So as you see here, those add up as well. This is what we're so excited, that if you move through the ranks and build to that Sapphire level, that's 1, 2, 3, the fourth person, if you add these up, this is $10,000. And it goes on and on. If you get to the Emerald level, all right, based on group volume, it's $200 per day, a level up bonus of $20. And remember, every fourth person that hits the levels, and all of this is in the details, continues to give you other builder bonuses. So much so that when you level up all the way to Black Crown based on group volume, daily commission, there's what I talked about. We have people already in this range, $750 a day, and it's only been happening since June. And they're on track to do $3,000 per day and hitting a level up bonus of $200,000. So let me ask you again, might be interested in sharing the story about people playing mobile games? Do you think you might be interested? I can see you shaking your head. I've got my binoculars out and I'm looking right through the screen at all of you out there. You're saying yes, because this is so lucrative, is because of the money to be made in mobile gaming. So you have to ask yourself and decide today, are you ready to play games and get paid? Are you ready to introduce other people to playing games and getting paid? And if the answer is yes, it's time to game, time to take out the UK money hammer and hit people with the money hammer. So what are the 3 steps? All right, I thought what I'd do before I go into that, all right, because normally Krista does this part and then I come in and do this part. Let me actually escape out of here and go back and let's talk to Bodil, her experience with that compensation plan, and you'll understand why she's so excited about the compensation plan going forward. So I'm going to bear with me, folks. All right, and I'm going to go back to the lovely Bodil. All right. So talk to us. I covered basically the compensation plan, the levels, the bonus up, and all that. So talk to us from your experience. Share with people. You've been in how many days? What level and what bonuses have you already hit in just 30 days?
Okay. I was in 4 days, and I had my 3 guys in. So I got my 250 bonus and started earning $5 a day. So I knew my expenses, my outlay was covered.
Now, when you talk about though, what do you mean by that exactly? Because people are like, now, are you referring to the $125 a month that I talked
Yep.
about, which shocked so many people, right? Because when you first heard about it too, you're like $125 a month.
Yeah.
Reaction. Okay, so talk to us
What I
about
actually thought
once
was,
you wrapped your head about
when I thought $125, that's like £95 over here. That will get me almost 2 weeks worth of groceries. It will get me my petrol, my gas for the whole month. Just thought that's a lot of money. But you know, I could see that there was there was a bigger picture there, and I had to go and get $125. I didn't have it. I went to get it. I made sure I had it and got in there. And within 4 days, I was okay anyway. Some people might take a wee bit longer, but then I also found that just before I've just now hit 1 month in the business, and it was 4 days ago that I hit Ruby 2. So I got my
boom,
750.
boom, boom. Yeah, hit him with the money hammer, Bodil. Absolutely.
So that's me. I've had $750
Awesome.
of commission, and I'm now on $20 a day. It's absolutely
Exactly.
amazing.
So now go back to what you were saying. You started to say your expenses were covered. What you mean is the monthly program costs are covered because you got your
Yes.
3. Maybe in your own words, you can explain that to people, how that actually adds up. Because people are going, wait, but I paid 125. How's it covered? So in your
Okay.
own words, explain
I
to them.
paid 125. Within a few days, I'm getting $250. So my first payment out has been covered, but because I've got $5 a day, there's $150 I'm making throughout the month. So therefore, by the time the next fee comes off, I've more than made that.
So you're now net positive, and
Yes,
essentially the system is paying for itself, and now your job is to just continue to introduce more people. Am I correct?
absolutely. And to me, because I love helping people, I really absolutely adore helping people in any way that I can. It means that I can now concentrate and help the guys that have come in with me, my 3, and I'm helping them. I've put people in place there. I've helped them to train them on the system that we have, and just get more and more people in. So people are coming in, they're getting the level up bonus, they're getting their $5 a day. It's a no-brainer, a complete no-brainer. Serious.
Good stuff. And we've also had the CEO on, Lance Baker, and
Mm-hmm.
it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see a company that has all the bases covered, not only in compliance but also in the
Yeah.
CFO as well. And we've talked to all those people, so that's refreshing. But I think one of the most refreshing, and since you talked about it, you've had experience in MLM. Have you
Mm-hmm.
ever had experience being a new internet marketer with a network marketing company that has the type of marketing arcade that these guys have for $25 a month?
Never, never. You know that there are so many companies out there. They all have this similar kind of training, and it's all about speaking to your warm market. Da, 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 da. But no, this is very different. To the point where it's actually so much easier, because you're not knocking on the door of mom and dad and cousins and uncles. You're going out there. You can speak to anybody about this. You can speak to the guy standing waiting on a cab or on a bus. You just speak to him because everybody's playing games.
That's
So
that's your opener, right? You
yeah,
see someone like that,
absolutely.
and
Mm,
we again, and other teams do it as well, have all kinds of training, but the marketing arcade that they have in the back, um, amount of things that they're sharing, not only digital landing pages, funnels, all this type of stuff, which is fairly new to you as an internet marketer coming in,
yeah.
but they also cover all the bases on the warm markets with drop
Mhm,
cards, am I correct, and flyers, and
mhm.
they provide
Yes,
all of that just
all of
to
it.
tell the story as much as possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There are just so many opportunities for different marketplaces. You can take this little tear-off strip flyer thing that you post that in the local store or at the school, or it's just, there's so much there. Whereas with the kind of traditional MLM, it is very much warm market, then referral, and so on. So that this just, I think I'm keep going back to the word simple, but yes.
And so what I thought I'd do, the final part, and this is normally where I come in on the show and do this part, to show people what we mean by simple. So Bodil, I thank you. I'm going to go back in, share this last part, because I think people need to see visually. We keep using the word simple and getting the 3. A lot of people are going to be asking, how do I get my 3? What do you mean by that? So I'm going to share one last time for everyone. And this is not normally how we do it, but again, this is the great thing about technology and rolling with it. It is what it is. And so I'm going to share and let's see, I'm going to share from the current slide, and we're going to go down. All right, and bear with me while we take a ride through our past. Your life is flashing before your eyes. Big has already shared all this. So let's talk about, after Game On, and we talked about this, all right, steps to getting paid. Because again, all of you sit here with what Bodil has talked about. I've shared it. Again, Krista lost her power, and she would have shared it. Ultimately, everyone says, that's great, guys, wonderful, etc. You've convinced me. I don't have to play games. I just have to find people that are interested, share the story. Even they don't have to play games themselves. They just have to understand that this is a way to create a business and an income from it. So let's talk about 3 steps to getting paid. Earlier, Bodil, about becoming a game ambassador, and you said it. You found the money, you paid the $125, the $124.99, and that's the way you do it. So you become a game ambassador. Qualified. That simply means what Bodil shared with you was she went out and she got her 3 game ambassadors. She found 3 people to pay their $125. So she then became commission qualified. All right. And what that means is that she received her level up. By leveling up her game, she received her $250 level up bonus plus her $5 a day residual income that she talked about. So if you do the math here, even though she paid $125, she got $250 plus $5 a day, more than covered. So Bodil, if you could mute for me so that it can stay on the slide, that'd be fantastic. And what it does is it covers, like she said, her outlay each month. But the thing she also covered was all the training and support. A lot of MLM companies out there, you know, that's where it's lacking. That's where it's lacking. Krista, you're back with us?
Absolutely, my power went.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to get through this, and at the end, we'll basically have you cover the summary that you had prepared anyway. But one of the main things that Bodil and I were talking about was this whole training and support system. And Game Loot Network is fantastic. They have conference calls, webinars, everything to have you be successful. They really want you to be successful because, again, it's all about that team building. It's all about that getting you to get your 3 and helping those 3 get their 3. So how do you become a game ambassador? You purchase the 500. You also subscribe to the Marketing Arcade for $24.99, which Bodil talked about is fantastic. That's going to allow you to tell your story. So you're spending that $125. And the basic structure we covered. You get commission qualified. You hit the position of Ruby that we shared in the comp plan. You get the level up bonus of $250 and the $5 per day because you personally enrolled 3 game ambassadors. Level at Ruby 2 here and get a $500 bonus. And like Bodil was saying, of $20 a day residual income, you basically have your 3 game ambassadors, and those 3 game ambassadors get their 3, and you're at $20 per day residual income, all because of the mobile gaming industry. And you can do the math. That's an extra $600 per month, and it's really not that hard. And then there are other levels from that. But we wanted to show you the basic structure to getting paid. So we want you to get started. Here's what we want you to do. Get back to the person that shared this link with you, that shared this replay. Enroll with them as a game ambassador using their link for $125. You're going to then check your email to get your back office login information from Game Loot Network. They're going to require you to set up your e-wallet so that you can get paid, because as we said, once you get those 3 game ambassadors underneath you and become commission qualified, the next pay period, which basically happens every Friday, that money is going to go into your e-wallet and you can withdraw it immediately. And in fact, I'm going to have Krista share in a little bit how quickly that happened for her, and she did a proof video as well as some of our other team members to show people that it is real, legit, and does happen that way. But after you set up your e-wallet, you're going to go back to your back office in Game Loot Network, and you're going to get very familiar with it ASAP. Bodil talked about, okay, is once she wrapped her head around the opportunity, she went in and started to understand the compensation plan, started to be able to share that with other people. You want to get very familiar with the back office, and it is robust. It is absolutely robust. Then you're going to want to take your mobile phone and download the Game Loot app. Why? If you're talking to people about mobile gaming, then you yourself need the app on your phone so that you show people. Someone standing there playing games, say, hey, I noticed you're playing Game of the Week there. Have you ever checked out Game Loot Network? I actually get paid to play games. You might want to check it out. It's free. Then you want to go to your website and download that compensation plan PDF that we talked about. If it hasn't already been shared by the person that gave you their link, make sure you do that. Understand it, because we can tell you from experience, and Krista would have talked all about it, you want to understand that because it is powerful. It is powerful. That's how you get started. That is the end of my slideshow. And what I'm going to do is come back and let now